2.5 hours of crying, falling asleep on me, and then waking up and crying again. My husband was working nights this week. We went through 6 books, 2 bottles, and lots of frustration as my 14-month-old, 2 days ago, decided that it was not time for mommy to work on her icebreaker speech for today. Now, I did find out eventually why my son was crying, and we'll get back to that a little bit later. But for now, I'd like to introduce myself, Mr. Toastmaster and fellow Toastmasters. My name is Amanda Lowe. I am 33 years old and I work at Moffitt Cancer Center. And again, my life, it wasn't always like this. I didn't have a baby crying on me through most of my life. I'm, like I said, 33 years old with a 14-month-old. So today, to let you get to know me, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my childhood, some of my college years, not all my college years, some of my college years, and lead you up to present day about 2 days ago into this afternoon. I was the firstborn, born in 1986, December. I was a preemie baby, 5 weeks early. Ended up being the oldest of 3 girls. My sisters, between myself and the youngest sister, are about 3 years, so we're very close in age. My mom stayed home with us throughout till about I was in 4th grade. My dad worked long hours at UPS, and coming from a single income home, I remember life being pretty simple. Nothing lavish, just very simple. Grew up with a lot of boys in the neighborhood. For some reason, I always remember there being a lot of boys. My sisters and I grew up playing manhunt in the neighborhood, street hockey, video games, although I do remember being an hour time limit on video games on a Sega Genesis back then. With my dad's job, he moved around a lot, so I went to 3 different elementary schools before we finally settled down when I was in 5th grade. Once we got to Clearwater, where we settled down, I took up basketball when I was 11 years old, and I played all through high school. Throughout that time, hanging out with friends, making some of the best friends I have today, going through some heartbreak as a teenager. But I pretty much lived off Cheerios and McDonald's chicken nuggets. That's about what I remember from high school times. Fast forward to college, when I was 18, I moved to Tampa to go to USF and lived in the dorms. Again, lived off Cheerios, but this time peanut butter and jelly was also in there. Some virgin margaritas maybe were in there. So I thought I was going to be a doctor, and I enrolled in pre-medical classes. I sat through calculus 3 times before I finally passed it.
Yay!
I sat through chemistry, Chem 1 and 2. I received C's as my grade there.
All good.
And still thought I was going to be a doctor. And the first day of biology 1 over the summer of 2007, I sat there for about 20 minutes and said, what the heck am I doing? I'm not going to be a doctor. I don't want to be a doctor. I was thinking about organic chemistry and how I didn't want to do that. And I had this epiphany. Okay, I either want to be a detective because I watch these cool To Catch a Predator shows on TV, or I'm just going to major in business because I don't know what else I want to do. Then someone told me you have to be a cop to be a detective, and I didn't want to be a cop. I had no interest in being a cop. So I decided on business management. Went through college, 4 years, came out of college, didn't have a stable career type job yet. I was working at T-Mobile selling cell phones, and decided to go to graduate school at University of Tampa. And that's where I actually found my first job that got me into project management. I became a project analyst for a government contractor. I was 22 years old. While I was there, I played around I love being online. I'm a believer you can find anything online. I'm an avid Amazon person. Don't judge me if you don't like Amazon. And with that, a friend of mine in college said, why don't you try dating online? It's like, that's weird. I'm 24 years old at this point. That's really weird. I went on to Match.com and did a free trial thing for about 3 months. And I think I went on about 6 dates, and date number 7 turned out to be my husband.
Woo!
So that was very cool that it worked out that way. Fast forward a couple years, we were married in 2016, and we bought our house that same year. So we were broke that year. There was a lot going on. Last year, we were blessed with our son, also a preemie like his mommy. So 6 weeks early, he blessed us. We spent 2 weeks in the NICU before we got to bring him home.
Whoa.
And it was a fun time last year. The last year flew by. So take us to present day 2 days ago. Why is he crying? Why are you crying when I need to work on my speech? I became sardonic. He must be trying to ruin my speech. I signed up for this, I'm motivated, now he's ruining it. He kept pointing to the door, like this. And I said, you're not going to play, it's bedtime, it's 10:30 at night. Finally, I gave in and decided to go out to the kitchen and see what he was pointing, what he's thinking in his head. Sure enough, he points to a box of Cheerios on the counter. And I put some Cheerios in front of him, and he ate Cheerios for 20 minutes straight.
Wow.
Apparently he was hungry and he really wanted the Cheerios. And after that, he went to sleep and slept the rest of the night, most of the rest of the night. So now you know a little bit about me, and I hope you also take away from this that Cheerios help make the world go round.